Chapter 11 Remains.
Why won't you wake up?
Caden was awoken. He stood upon his feet, eyes slowly coming into focus. A collar tight around his neck was spitting electricity. He brings up his hands to look at them, palms facing him, fingers outstretched. His mind is blank, but his eyes are beginning to focus. For what is this behind his hands, resting upon the ground? Two curious bodies in strange garb. What was it the voice had said? Why won't you wake up? It had stirred him from seemingly endless darkness. Bits of memories too faded to register shift like dark clouds in his mind. His eyes finally focus on the bodies at hand, arrayed around him in a distasteful manner. One sliced by something of intense heat, in 3 pieces it was. The other fared not much better, its neck snapped in 2. Kanan was human. He knew this much from his jumbled memories. These 2 beings weren't. They, although humanoid, were thin in nature, at a length around 9 feet tall, with 4 main joints in their limbs instead of 3. Big heads with sharp fangs, no nose to speak of, eyes protruding from their heads similar to cones. Pray tell, where has Kanan found himself, and what strange creatures these? No memories, even though jumbled, were associated with any of this. He decides suddenly that perhaps checking himself out may reveal a clue. Black, ancient, tattered metal fabric armor donned his body from the neck down, around which a cloak of the same black metal fabric cascaded. Kanan kind of wonders why his head is not the same material as the rest of him. The wind changes and his long black hair whaps him in the face. Brushing away his long locks, he looks down upon the curious creatures at his feet. They were loosely clothed with simple blades at their hands. His collar sparks again, suggesting that he should remove it, and upon deciding to do just that, he finds a clasp, which is surprisingly easy to remove. He drops it on the ground. It thunks heavily, creating a dent in the dirt. He is surprised because it did not feel that heavy. Crouching down, he is about to pick it up to test how heavy it is, when a light appears in his vision. He waves his hand in front of his face but does not dissipate. It seems to overlay his sight. It focuses suddenly and moves to the corner of his vision. Turning his head, he sees it zero in on the creature with the broken neck, highlighting a holographic X-ray section of his torso. A spectral object appears within the highlighted section, next to the creature's apparent heart. Taking one of their knives, he cuts open the torso, then reaches his hands inside, guided by the holographic overlay, and wraps his fingers around the cross. Removing the glowing cross, he flicks excess buggity gank to the side and inspects it. That's when his left leg pops open. What appears is beyond his immediate comprehension. Within the opened artificial reality compartment is thousands of the glowing crosses. An unseen energy abruptly takes hold upon the cross in his hand. Surprised, Kanan accidentally releases it from his grasp, and it glides into the opening, which shuts closed behind it. Before he can attempt to wrap his mind around what just happened, there is a rustling in the bushes behind him. As he turns to look, a notification pops up in his eyesight. Do you wish to gate to the next area? Auto gate in 13 seconds. A giant creature on 6 legs, accompanied by rows upon rows of teeth, crashes through the forest running towards him, bellowing a god-awful roar. Gobs of drool pouring out of its maws, it eyes the tasty Kanan-sized treat with all 5 of its 5 eyes. Yes, gate me immediately, please, Kanan says. Nothing happens, and the ravenous beast is getting closer. A bit of panic rises in the form of an urge to run screaming while its flailing arms about wildly, but Kanan resists this urge and notices a gate button visible in his eyesight. Resisting the urge to jam his finger into his eye to push the button, he instead imagines pressing the button in his mind just as the beast bites down on him, swallowing him whole. Well, it would have, had he not gated at that exact moment. To poor Kanan, though, it appeared that he had died. He had gated to a new area, but it was dark, with no light to be seen and no sound to be heard. Kanan didn't know what he expected death to be like, but he figured it would have been different. A torch flame ignites in front of his face. A wrinkled old man stands face to face with him, holding said torch. Kanan is definitely curious about the process of death now.